It's chapter 7. Mind of an Asiatic, homie. Yo. See, any other time, I wouldn't pay you any mind. Put my best foot forward in every verse and every line. I used to dream, I used to pray about the day that I get signed into the truth. About this business just blew my mind. I swear to God, I used to think all I needed was a skill. High verse, catchy hook, dope look, then get a deal. I used to love the rock a sold out show just for the thrill until the real was revealed to my spirit like Jabril. I'm iconic.
Yeah, they say they want this more science, so I'ma give it to them. Islamism, no illusions when I'm interviewing. Know what I'm doing, no confusion, I ain't into cooning. I'm in the moving units, out here starting revolutions. In love with shooters, making masterminds out the goonies. I got a booming out here zooming on the plane of soul. I tell them take me to the grove, they like Islam mode. I'm letting them know this not a show, this all systems go. It's two cells, one man, both high and low. I'm so spiritual, the indigos feel the vibe. I'm so lyrical, a miracle that I survive. Extend my 5 to the 4, I can see him coming. Plus my angel got the angle with the engine running. It's all justice, freedom, peace, truth, and love.
I am not a Negro, black, colored, African American. I'm a Moorish American. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, 5 on the right, 2 on the left, man. You know what time it is. Yo. We just Moors in America, soar through the shores and endure criminal acts of war on our character. 7 years after the 4th score, no reward. Shout out to the most courageous, they was jumping over barriers. Where does that compare to you? We come from a place where you scared to visit our area. We come from a place where it's scary for good Samaritans. Heavy luggage we carrying, babies having babies. It's crazy being American. Praise the one and only Allah, there's no comparison. La ilaha illa Allah, body and buried gin. Laughing at you clowns like ha-ha, dodging the Nephilim. Conquer lower self with the high, follow your regimen. Way before they came we were gods and now we specimen. Tried to take the light from our eyes, thank God for Edison. Then they put the wool on our eyes, it's so embarrassing. Now we travel frequently, we should invest in Sheraton. All of us got gold on our bodies whenever we stepping in. Screaming Ramadan Mubarak, training the flesh again. Wishing we could move as a unit just like the Mexicans. Dodging all the foods with estrogen, synthetic medicines. All sin isn't devilish. Sometimes the decisions that you make come for a better gift. Sometimes when you sin is to relate to all your brethren. Heavenly gates all in our face, we the champions. We live in the sky, we see the angels on the chariots. Waiting on the $20 bill, facing Harriet. I bet you I'ma carry it. I'm in love with music to the point I wanna marry it. But my love for people is greater, so I write messages. Largest spending power, but we still sit at a deficit. Living amongst prejudice, even at our residence. Moors in America, flourishing, excellent. Let's buy up some neighborhoods and groom our own president. Yeah. And I come to you today with all intentions of spreading love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
All right, Islam Moors. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. I know you guys see the title here. We're gonna go in today. We're going out on a limb here. Going out on a limb. Well, we always do that when we speak the truth. It appears that YouTube and Facebook and a lot of these entities, they don't like when you speak truth, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it anyway. All right. So I have no idea what the outcome is gonna be, but we're gonna speak the truth. We come in love too. We don't come in hate. So there's really no way to attack the message, but we're going to expose some things that need to be exposed more. So in saying that, I'm just gonna ask that everybody watching this hits the like and share button. All right. Make sure you hit like and share. Share this with as many people as possible, because these things are occurring in our faces and a lot of people don't even realize it. They don't realize it. But you know how we do here. If you don't, this is your first time here on the Moors in America podcast, just want to say this little disclaimer just to get this out the way. This video represents the views of the presenters. That's me. It is based off of my own personal research and life experience. In no way is this content endorsed by or representation of the official policies of any other organization. I'm standing on my own. That's what you need to do. Men, women, you need to be able to stand on your own, and you need to be able to stand on the truth, on the solid rock of salvation. Truth is aught, and aught is a lie. So why not stand on the truth? We can't be scared to speak the truth. Before we go in, though, I rise and give honors, the highest praise to the Most High Father God Allah. We extend honor to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. We extend honor to the forerunner to the prophet, our brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We extend honors to all of you faithful Moors, all of you Muslims, all of you, regardless of what your ethnic background is. If you're watching this, if you stand on truth, we stand with you and we give you honors. And also, because I know you're going to share this, you're going to hit the like and the share button to help get this information out. So honors to all the faithful Moorish American Muslims, the light bringers watching right now, and all the light bringers all over the world. And well, good evening. What we're going to do here, we're just going to be revealing some of the lies, some of the devilishness, the insidious plots that are occurring right before our eyes. And you know, it's funny because people are slipping up and they're revealing the agendas. Or maybe they're just getting smug now. They're so certain that what they're doing is going to work that they don't even feel like, hey, we don't even have to hide anything anymore. But they're doing it, and it's out in the open, and we're going to expose it. Okay? We're going to speak on it. As always, I'm your brother, Lloyd Douglas, also known as Sharif Ali. We're uncovering and bringing glorious light to all issues pertinent to the Moorish American paradigm. That's what we do here on this podcast known as Moors in America. And I hope everybody's having an amazing evening, and I hope everybody clicks that like and share button. Make sure you share this on your favorite platform. We're not just going to waste your time talking here. So we're going to expand further on this topic, and we'll be right back after a couple of words from our sponsors. You know, real briefly, I do want to share a website with you, Moors. Make sure that you check out this website, dejournobility.com. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you. I have it up right now. So dejournobility.com. You can get all of your Moorish apparel right here. And this is Moorish American owned. Okay, so make sure you go to dejournobility.com. You can see that right up there, DEJURE Nobility, NOBILITY.com. Moorish hoodies, t-shirts, everything. Look at that. Mound Builders tee. We got everything on here for you. Clothes for men, women, and children. All right. Just make sure you go to dejournobility.com. Check that website out. There's way more clothing than you can see on here. You just have to go there yourself and check it out. And make sure also that you share that website. Okay. And let's go ahead and get started, Morris. We're not going to play around here. This is going to be hot and heavy. And like I said, man, no telling what what these YouTube, Facebook guys are going to do, but we're going to speak the truth anyway. All right. All right, Moors. All right. So, what sparked this? What sparked this? This is a hot topic, something that a lot of people try to stay away from because of the climate that we're in now. It's like, look, if you say anything about any type of gay agenda, anything, you're done. Finito. It's over. All right. And things have been heating up, right? They've been getting crazier and crazier. They've been getting crazier by the day. I'm sure all of you have seen this guy, this swimmer dude, right? Dude, he's a dude. I don't care about all of that stuff, man. You can't say they, non-binary and all that, man. I don't care about that stuff. It's like, come on. He's a big, gigantic dude, and he won the swim meet, and this was like, everybody's talking about this. Like it says here on this winner's podium, a 6'1" trans swimmer who went through male puberty. He won. And it's ridiculous, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. But this stuff has been getting shoved down our throats. And we're just going to do a mini expose. And we don't have to really do a whole lot of digging and reaching. Like everything is right out there in the open. So first, just want to speak on this. Just recently, there was an interview where this lady who's an executive producer at Disney, they were having a meeting. I don't know if it's for Disney shareholders or what. Let me see. So basically there was a meeting possibly for Disney shareholders or something like that. It says Disney staff meeting. Okay. And they were upset about this Florida bill that the governor just implemented, where they call it the Don't Say Gay bill. But basically, he was just saying, look, man, you're not going to be forcing this LGBTQ whatever agenda on children. He didn't even say all ages. I think it only covered kindergarten through the 3rd grade. Right. And so they were talking about it. And let's see if we could play the audio. All right. Something else that might, upset YouTube, whatever. But we're going to play this so you can hear what this lady said. And then we'll briefly discuss it. And if you have any thoughts, feel free to add your thoughts to the discussion. Let's see what the lady had to say. She's not just a nobody. She's an executive producer at Disney.
It's like, I love Disney's content. I grew up watching, all of the classics. They have been a huge, informative part of my life. But at the same time, I worked at small studios most of my career, and I'd heard, you can hear whispers. I'd heard things like, oh, they won't let you show this at a Disney show. And I'm like, okay. So I was a little sus when I started. But then my experience was bafflingly the opposite of what I had heard on my little pocket of Proud Family Disney TVA. The showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel I felt it was, maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess something must have happened in the last like they're turning it around, they're going hard, and then all that like momentum that I felt, like that sense of I don't have to be afraid to like, let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background like I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to like if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud of them. But like I just was like, no one would stop me and no one was trying to stop me.
Okay, so this is what she said, and the reason why we're talking about this is because it's not as innocent as she's portraying it to be, right? It's not as innocent as anyone is portraying it to be. Even when she was talking in the beginning, she's talking about how she grew up watching Disney and how it had a formative effect on her growing up. So she was watching all of these, Disney shows, and in the past, they weren't able to do certain things, right? What things was she talking about? Things that were inappropriate. So before we really go in on this, I need to preface this because I know there are people who have like no clue of why we would have an issue with teaching about transsexual, pansexual, non-binary, and all of these other sexual identities to children. Well, first off, we shouldn't be pushing sexuality on children at all, right? The parents should, at an age-appropriate level, let their children know about the birds and the bees, or whatever you want to call it, procreation, right? That's on the parents. It's not on Disney. It's not on the school. It's not on anyone else. So the parents should do that age appropriate. You're not get out and, have the children. No, you do it at an age appropriate level so that they understand. And so no one needs to put adult grown up relationships on children. Period. So they don't need to be sexualizing the children, whether it's a regular male and female relationship. It doesn't matter. That doesn't need to be getting pushed to children. So in the past, they may have shown holding hands and kissing, and then things started getting more and more risque, and worse, basically, right? As the moral values declined. That's what happened. That's what she's actually talking about without saying it like that, because she doesn't want to put it in the proper light. And it's isn't an attack on her. It's just we have to keep it real. Also, this isn't obviously we're not attacking anyone that's gay or trans or whatever you're going through. It's not about that. We come in love, but we have to stand on the truth. Now, before we really talk about this, I want to discuss something. It's a book some of you may have heard of. It's pretty much required reading in at the college level. If you take a communications class, and that book that's required reading for a reason, it's Neil Postman's Entertaining Us to Death. Right? Let me see if I could pull something up on that. Well, Amusing Ourselves to Death. Okay, so it's been a while since I read the book. But Amusing Ourselves to Death, and I think he wrote other books about the topic, but Amusing Ourselves to Death basically shows how even the children's programming, like educational programming like Sesame Street and things like this, he let it be known like these shows were about entertaining. They weren't really about education. Education could be like, say Dora, for example. Dora teaches you one Spanish word in every cartoon. That counts it as educational programming. Is it really educational? Is it really teaching anybody anything? No, not really. And it's not knocking Dora or any of these shows. It's just letting it be known this is about the entertainment business, right? Getting you to buy the products and things. They're going to have Dora and Sesame Street dolls and shirts and all that stuff. So it's about selling a product and maybe, commercials, getting you to watch it. That's really what it's about, entertainment, right? But then also there's a dark side to the whole entertainment, the whole programming, okay? So programming, it doesn't matter what it is. When you're watching TV, you are being programmed, especially if you don't believe this even exists. Right? If you don't even think like If you don't even think any of that stuff matters, there's no subliminal programming. There's nothing to worry about. It's all innocent. That means you really are being programmed because you're not even aware that this is possible. You don't even know that, hey, when you're at the movie theater, there's certain little things they would show that would make you want popcorn, make you want to go and get more concessions, right? And that's kind of on the lighter side of it. But as it says in this post right here, children's programming. All right. So she's being quoted in here. She's a executive producer from Disney. She's actually over the show, the new Proud Family reboot. So they brought the Proud Family cartoon back. Right. And she's like gloating, like, hey, her not at all secret gay agenda. Anytime she could, she's adding some type of queer LGBTQ element to children's programming. Right now, why is this important to her? They'll say, oh, we need to protect the children who are going through these things. But guess what? There are more and more children coming out with these different adult sexual identities because of this programming. It's not a coincidence. Right. And she's saying out of her own words, hey, they didn't used to allow this, but now they do. I want to play that one more time. This is wild, people. This is wild. I mean, if your eyes are open at all, you don't even need to hear it again. You know, this is ridiculous, but it is. It's out in the open, gloating.
I grew up watching, all of the classics. They've been a huge, informative part of my life. But at the same time, I worked at small studios most of my career, and I'd heard, you can hear whispers. I'd heard things like, oh, they won't let you show this at a Disney show. And I'm like, okay. So I was a little sus when I started. But then my experience was bafflingly the opposite of what I had heard on my.
So she's letting it be known that it was baffling even to her how they allowed her to put all of this, as she says, queer elements, right, in the children's programming. She didn't even understand why they're giving her the green light to just do whatever she wants to do. And she has her own agenda for wanting to do this as well. There's another article explaining how it's Disney executive is the mother of a transgender and pansexual child, and she wants at least half of all future characters to be LGBTQIA. What is I? What is A? What is this? Okay? Or racial minorities. They always throw that in there like they're just tied together. Just like the whole Black Lives Matter movement that was bought and paid for, financed by billionaires like, what's that dude's name? The dude that looked like the Emperor from Star Wars. Okay, it'll come to me later on. But bottom line is movement, not grassroots, financed by billionaires, and they just happen to all the leadership. They're all LGBT QIA. Doesn't that sound like CIA, right? So they want to make it act like it goes hand in hand. So everybody has their own agenda. So they're hiring people who have these agendas. Maybe she's, gay or non-binary or something crazy, right? And so she wants to promote that. These are the people they're hiring who feel like they should promote this. And even she's saying out of her own mouth, her experience was bafflingly the opposite. It made no sense for her to be able to add all this queerness to children's programming. She talking about any characters, anything she could do, she would do it. Okay?
Then my experience was bafflingly the opposite of what I had heard on my little pocket of Proud Family Disney TVA. The showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel like I felt like it was, maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess something must have happened in the last, they're turning it around, they're going hard. And then all that momentum that I felt, that sense of, I don't have to be afraid to let's have these two characters kiss. Let's in the background, I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud of them. But I just was no one would stop me, and no one was trying to stop me.
Okay, so she just let it be known. Hey, every chance she could, she's putting it in there. It just makes no sense. So it's not even natural. It's just like as she said, it's her not so secret gay agenda. So it's not, something that's innocent and pure. She has her own reasons for wanting to do it, and that's why she's in that position, given the green light. Okay, so let's talk about this briefly. Executive producer admitted to a not so secret gay agenda to insert queerness into children's animation. You have this article also from the New York Post talking about this. So this just happened. She may regret being that honest and open, right? That was not very smart. But this happened at a Disney staff meeting, right? They were complaining about the law, like we were saying earlier, in Florida, right? And she's the executive producer for Disney television animation. So it's not just for the Proud family, right? She's over the animation, right? And she's going on about her efforts to feature LGBTQ storylines, right? Her not so secret gay agenda. This is crazy. So the video was leaked. This wasn't really meant for the public. Okay. This is crazy. I'm glad that it's out. But at this point in time, as she said, who's going to stop her? Right? There's all this finances, all of these resources behind putting this out. But if you look deeper into this, you'll see also, right, Carrie Burke, who's on the other article, was up. President of Disney's general entertainment content. So this is even for the, stuff with the real actors, right? Not with cartoons. The president of the general entertainment content vowed to drastically increase inclusivity in its productions, promising to at least 50% of its characters will be LGBTQ or minorities by the end of the year, right? And so this is like really important. This is really, really, really important. And it's like everything is happening right now, right? So this is just showing like some other Disney Toy Story spinoff called Lightyear and Hawthorne. He's Asiatic and he's a queer space cadet, right? So this is what you're going to see more and more of, okay? And on the bright spot, like it's sold as, hey, we want to make sure that people are more accepting of this stuff, right? But no, it's not that easy because, the Proud family, this is aimed at, well, let's look at the age range, right? Let's go on. Let's see, man. Can we pull something like that up on Wikipedia? I'm going to show you something about that, though. That's crazy. But just going back to that Disney exec, right? So they want this stuff in the theme parks. They want it everywhere, right? Anything Disney, it's going to be promoting that. And it's not just Disney. So this isn't like we're just attacking Disney or something, right? Disney has reportedly reinstated a gay kiss in its upcoming Toy Story spinoff, right? Amid the criticism. Hawthorne looked like it's voiced by an African actor, Uzo Abudu. He's in the film Lightyear. Or she. Maybe this is a female because it says she has a relationship with another female. All right. Her own children identify as pansexual and transgender. Like, why are children identifying with any of these things? Right? Why is sexuality, like having, sexual relationships even important? Like, especially the younger the children get. That's inappropriate. Okay. And then pansexual, if you look that up, that's terrible because it's like they can be with anything, animals, people, they just out here, just floating around, no order, no structure, nothing. Okay. And that type of mindset, though, that appeals to our people when we don't have a nationality, when we don't have a sense of self, right? Especially in that Negro mindset, right? That's because it's a reckless mindset that doesn't appreciate, doesn't want structure, doesn't want law, doesn't want order. Okay. And so that's a way to push that to us, to make it seem like you're rebelling against something. Okay. But going back to this, right? So the Proud family is an issue because if you look at like the age range that it was actually aimed at, let's look real quick. and then we'll talk about this reboot because this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay, so age group. All right. Okay, so when you look at the Proud Family, right, this is aimed at children ages 7 and up. Okay, children ages 7 and up. It's not appropriate, right, for them to be promoting this to children 7 and up. That's ridiculous. But here you go into the Proud Family. If you just look at the characters now, right, what they're pushing. And for the lady that just said your grandchildren don't watch Disney or the movies, I do not blame you, right? You can't trust it. You can't trust it. There's an agenda, and it's not to our benefit, right? There's an agenda, and we're gonna talk about this. We've been seeing things just building up, and it's like there's a huge rush to try to push this all out right now. Okay, but if you look at the characters for this new Proud Family, louder and prouder, right? If in that just in listening to that louder and prouder, it's kind of obvious what they're pushing. As the lady said, though, the executive producer, she let it be known, hey, this is what it's about. So if you look at the characters, let's see, I'll just pull a few of them out. They have some new characters. They have Barry and Randall Lebowitz Jenkins. It's an interracial gay couple, and they have adopted children. Okay. Then there's another character, Michael Collins, voiced by E.J. Johnson. That's Magic Johnson's son. Oh my gosh, this guy's like extremely flamboyant. So he's doing the voice of this character, Michael Collins. He's his flamboyant friend, the son coach. Not good enough. He's also gender non-conforming. He's non-binary. Right? He just one day he might be like this guy, Come on. Why are you promoting this to 7-year-olds? This is not cool at all, right? And of course, he would be ready and happy to voice this character. These are the people that they're promoting, that they're like, this is what the resources, the money, like a multi-billion-dollar international corporation like Disney, they have vast amount of resources, okay? Almost like an unlimited pile of resources and money that they could put behind. So if they want to promote LGBTQ, whatever it is, it's a gay agenda because they're going to promote it and they're going to have your children looking at this stuff and they're going to do it in a way that the children are going to think that this is me. This is just me. This is who I am. Right? And so even if you're sitting there with them, right, they're getting this message and they're thinking, this is who I am. All right, because they're feeling the passion coming from Magic Johnson's son, because this is who he is. And he's teaching this to little 7-year-olds, right? 8-year-olds. Come on. So why do they have to do this? They have a non-binary, openly gay, flamboyant character. Come on. Like little children are doing this? That's ridiculous. That makes no sense. I believe there's some more characters in there, but we're not really going to go break down all these characters because that's not what this is about, right? It's bigger than just the Proud Family. Okay, they're putting this out there, and it's been occurring for a while. So like we were showing this transgender swimmer guy, right? He's a guy. It doesn't matter if he grows his hair a little longer and now he wants to compete against women. That doesn't change anything. Look, I'm not spreading hatred or anything. Look at what Caitlyn Jenner said. Remember the guy who he was an Olympian named Bruce Jenner, and he decided he wants to start dressing like a woman? Well, guess what Caitlyn Jenner said about this transgender swimmer? He claims the transgender swimmer was not the rightful winner of the women's race at U.S. college championships. This is what Caitlyn Jenner said. And he became like the spokesman for transgenders. Talking about Caitlyn Jenner, right? And he's letting it be known, I don't support that. Oh, God. This is so ridiculous. So this guy, right, former Olympian, he's coming out saying that this is wrong. That guy who's competing against real women, he's not the true winner. He's not the rightful winner, right? It's just common sense. So this guy who couldn't compete against other men, right? He never won a championship. Now, all of a sudden, he switches over to women. He's towering over them because he's 6'1", right? Looks nothing like a woman, and he won the race. Get out of here with that mess. So even this guy, this crazy guy, Caitlyn Jenner, says that it's wrong. That guy you shouldn't be competing against women. It's ridiculous, right? Why would he say that? Because he was an actual athlete. He actually competed in, I think, the decathlon or something like that in the Olympics. And he knows how difficult it is to compete in sports at a high level, and that it's not fair for this big, tall guy to be going up against these women. We are not the same biologically, and you can't just say that you identify as that. That doesn't change your biology. That's common sense. Okay? So you can't get mad at me for all the confused people out there. Get mad at Caitlyn Jenner, right? He said it out his own words. That's not the first time I've heard him say something like that. But like, yeah, for sports, he's going to come out because he did it and he knows it's not right. Everyone does. Okay, so this is like the type of craziness that we're seeing. And this stuff happened as soon as Mr. Biden got in office, right? All of a sudden, he's putting out these executive orders. He put out 2 right away, specifically addressing the LGBTQIA community, whatever that is, right? A bunch of craziness, if you ask me. Okay, so this is another article too. Daily Mail, portrait of a sports world gone mad. On the winner's podium, 6'1" trans swimmer who went through male puberty, and the runners up who never stood a chance, right? And if you look at like the guy's history, you'll see like he never won anything, like as far as like actually winning a race, competing against the other guys, right? So what's to stop everyone from just doing this? What's to stop all these guys who could never make it in the NBA to just boom, all of a sudden they identify as women and they're gonna start taking over, you know, WNBA and all the other women's sports? That's ridiculous, right? Right. As it said before, too, again, Caitlyn Jenner, Olympic medalist, decathlete, set the world record at the 1976 Olympic Games competing as Bruce Jenner. Then he transitioned in 2015, said it was common sense that the females should be declared the winner, not this dude, right? At least the next runner up. I don't think biological boys should compete in women's sports. We have to protect women's sports. That's the bottom line. Those aren't my words. That's a quote from Caitlyn Jenner. So gone somewhere. That's common sense. How can anyone not agree with this? Right? Well, you know who doesn't agree with that? Biden. Biden's first day. This is from Wall Street Journal. Biden's first day began the end of girls' sports. He actually did 2 executive orders specifically targeting the LGBTQ community, right? Like, why? Why is it so important to do this, right? He like had to make it where there's universities and public schools will lose their funding if they don't allow boys to identify as girls. So now they can go in the girls' restroom. Are you crazy? Right? So I have little girls, and this other boy is supposed to just be able to like identify as a girl. Now he can go in there with them, and now the male teacher, he identifies as a girl too. So now he can, you know, go in there with the little girls. Get the hell out of here! Get out of here! Are you crazy? There's a video. There's this older guy who guy identifies as little girl. Okay, so yeah, Canadian family leaves Wait, Canadian man leaves family to be transgender 6-year-old. This dude's 52. Look at this. This is insanity, man. This is crazy. Okay. What does it say? I have gone back to being a child. This is from the Daily Mail. Husband and father of 7, 52 years old, leaves his wife and kids to live as a transgender 6-year-old girl named Stephanie. What the hell? He lived as Paul until, and I'm not going to say she, get the hell out of here. He lived as Paul until he realized that he was trans at age 46 and was not accepted by his family. Oh, boo-hoo. After 2 suicide attempts and a bout of homelessness, he found hope in the transgender community in Toronto. Get the hell out of here. Are you insane? If you go along with this, you're insane. He now resides with an adoptive mommy and daddy and spends his time playing with dolls and the couple's young grandchildren. Now, people who go along with this, you don't see it, you don't realize it, but you are devolving. Okay? There's a massive shift in consciousness right now. The planet's getting bombarded with coronal mass ejections, also known as solar flares from the sun, right? The planet is getting upgrades. People all over the planet, our consciousness is rising, not just us, the plants, the animals, everything. Okay? If you are going to all of a sudden at 52 decide you want to spend your time playing with dolls and identify as a 6-year-old girl, you are devolving. You are going in the opposite direction, right? And I don't care about attempting suicide and all that. That's terrible. That's too bad. But I mean, like, come on. This is ridiculous. This is not normal. This is not something that should be encouraged. We should not be humoring this, right? I mean, I understand if you want to try to get someone like this help, but you're not to try to act like this is okay. Everyone call him a her. And yes, let his old 52-year-old ass go in the bathroom with your little 6-year-old girl because he identifies as 6-year-old. Are you crazy? Like, people like this, that doesn't stop them from molesting children and stuff like that. Like, get the hell out of here. But this is what, Biden and them, this is what they want. This is what they're pushing for. Look at the Joe Biden, the person he put in charge of mental health. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, yeah, here we go. Health Secretary Rachel Levine. All right, this is the Secretary for Health. Like, get the hell out of here. Assistant Secretary. The first openly transgender official confirmed by Senate. Like, come on. This is I'm not going to say it anymore. I mean, like, this is crazy. This is like, what? Oh my gosh, there was a movie. There was a movie about this. What's the guy's name? There was a guy. He used to be a football player. He's an actor now. He's always dancing. You know what I'm talking about? What's that guy's name? He played the president in this movie, and he's wearing a wig. It was about how the Americans were stupid. Yeah, Terry Crews. Okay. All right. So there's a movie. You may or may not have seen it before. It's called Idiocracy. All right. This guy, Terry Crews, he plays the president, right? So everybody in the world in this movie is like in the future. Everybody is stupid, just stupid as hell. Okay. They're so stupid that they spray like Pepsi or something like that on the crops. And then they're wondering why the crops don't grow. Okay. And you see, like, he's a president, he's just shooting machine guns. Everybody is stupid. Like, everybody has devolved to the point where it's just like, just rampant stupidity. There's no one you know, who has any kind of intelligence. There's a guy from the present day who is like in a time capsule. He wakes up and he's the smartest man on earth. And he was just like a normal dude. He was not smart at all. Right. But everyone's devolved so lowly that just a regular dude would be like a genius in the future. Okay. And the reason I'm saying this is because this is what you are witnessing. This is what you're witnessing. This ridiculous scenario. This is what's occurring right now, where you see this guy, right? This is your assistant health secretary for the entire country. Okay? How can this guy give you any advice on health? He's overweight and he's confused about his own gender. Right? This looks ridiculous. Okay, because health, that includes mental health. So there's a problem there. Anyone with sense would see that and say, okay, something's wrong with this picture. This shouldn't be occurring. This guy can't tell me nothing, right? He can't tell me anything, right? But that should be common sense. But so should the, you know, all of this stuff. Like, there's no reason why they should be putting all of this stuff in children's programming for children ages 7 and up. Oh, it's important. We need a flamboyant character in there who identifies as non-binary. One day he's wearing a dress, next day he's got on men's clothes, and you know he's also gay. Like, come on, get the hell out of here. That stuff's not important for children, right? Like, we see stuff like this. You don't humor this and act like, oh, this is right, this is okay, this is the way to be. You're 52 years old. You can identify as a 6-year-old girl. That's okay. Everybody call him, her now. He doesn't like pronouns. He might be a guy tomorrow, so don't use he or she, because he just use they. Just call him they. They. He likes to switch around. It's like, come on. Tomorrow, next week, he'll hell out of here. Come on. Look, going along with this will just take you down mentally. You got to understand, this is ridiculous, right? This is ridiculous. Okay. So you don't look at this and say, okay, guy, that's normal. That's all right. This is perfectly normal. Everyone accept this. You must accept this. You must not use pronouns. You can no longer say he or she, right? We were listening to something earlier today. This guy, and you know, no knock to the guy. He was just doing his job. He was like saying, like, we can't say the M word anymore. He was talking about marriage. He wanted to ask the crowd, like, who's married? He's like, forgot, can't say the M word. Like, what the heck? Yo, what is going on? Right? Because you might offend people. Like, come on. Come on. Insane. Right? Right. Okay. So, I mean, look at these pictures, man. This dude found an adoptive mommy and daddy. He's got 2 nutcases that want to humor him. This guy needs help. But they're going to humor him and say, oh, you look fine. Let's walk down the street together. Come on, man. If this is what you want to do, I'm not the one that says you need help. This is freaking common sense. Okay? You want to live as a little girl because you were never able to when you were a child? The hell out of here. That's what, you know, anybody ever seen a video of Michael Jackson where he's getting interviewed, I think, by Oprah, and he's like climbing up the tree just out of the blue, and he's like acting like a kid, and says he never got to be a kid before. It's like, okay, well, he had all that money and he's got all these fake people around him who's going to humor him. And that's why he's allowed to do that. And even so, even though it wasn't to his greater benefit, right? They'll humor him. And that's why he wound up in that situation where he's got these boys accusing him of molestation. You know, I'm not saying he did it. I mean, the accusations were enough to take down his career, right? Nobody was able to say, hey, Michael, this is not healthy. And you don't need to be around these little boys having sleepovers because you're not a child. Okay? Even if you mean well, you're putting yourself in a position where somebody can come back and accuse you of something. You can't have sleepovers, dude, with little children. right? But nobody told him because he had money. And so you want to humor these people? That's the type of mentality. It's wrong. It's not good. It's not healthy. Instead of saying, hey, you need help. Well, oh, it's okay. Don't call him him or she or they or whatever, right? Come on, get out of here. So this is insane. Not gonna subject you to any more pictures of this craziness, okay? But that's the point. Like it's ridiculous. And no, we don't humor people in this situation. Somebody has to speak the truth. So once again, I mean, this is no attack on anyone. It's not a message of hatred. You know, we come in love. Like, we're not here to make people feel bad, but we have to reveal the truth. We have to say it. It's the truth. It is. Okay? And that's why it was put in that light, because that's the truth. Like with Michael Jackson, he wanted to identify as a little boy, and he was having sleepovers, and it backfired on him. Ruined his career, right? Okay, so yeah, and this has really, everything has just been in hyperdrive ever since this guy got into office, right? Executive order after executive order. This is from Wall Street Journal saying is an executive order rigs competition by requiring that biological boys be allowed to compete against girls, right? He's signing all these executive orders right away. That was like top priority. You need to let these boys and men compete against girls or you'll lose your funding, right? Like, come on. Like, wow, right? The order declares children should be able to learn without worrying about whether they will be denied access to the restroom, locker room, or school sports. So this is like so important that as soon as the president gets in office, he needs to do this. Make sure that the boys can go in the girls' restroom. Like, come on. And the thing they're leaving out of here, because it says children, they're leaving out the fact that grown-ups can do this too. Okay, because if you've been to the elementary school, like, come on. I don't care if the teacher, who's a woman, goes into the girls' restroom, right? There are women. There's no problem in my head with this scenario because there shouldn't be anything inappropriate taking place anyway. But, you know, still, there's no problem. But no, there shouldn't be the male teachers going in there with the little girls, right? There's no problem with them going in the boys' restroom, but they don't need to be in there, right? But this is the thing that they're not letting you see. Oh, you can't call him a man because he's not a he. He's a she. Or he's non-binary. He's a they. He can go whatever bathroom he wants. Like, get out of here. That's messed up. All persons should receive equal treatment under the law. That doesn't mean that people get to be confused about their identity and force it on everyone else. But this is what they're doing. They're dumbing everything down. Okay? So I'm not going to read this whole entire article. But like I said earlier, he actually issued 2 executive orders right away going to sex-based discrimination. Right away. It was so important, guys. And ladies, okay, not sure what the USA or U.S. figure the Constitution with 2 more. No, sorry, I don't. But that's that would have to be talked about on another discussion. So yeah, this is crazy, right? January 20th, right after inauguration. President Joe Biden issued Executive Order 13988 that states all persons should receive equal treatment under the law, regardless of their gender, identity, or sexual orientation. And that sounds okay, like, okay, we don't need to discriminate. But then you go in and you see it's really about letting these guys and you know, go in whatever bathroom they want, you know, do whatever they want, and making it now where people can get punished even just for referring to a man as a he. Okay? That's really what it was about. March 8th, 2021, executive order states it's the policy of the Biden administration to guarantee educational environment free from discrimination based on sex, including discrimination in the form of sexual harassment, which encompasses sexual violence and including discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. Okay. So, you know, I mean, it's not innocent. Okay, if you look at some more recent quotes, right, from Biden, he just honored Transgender Day of Visibility, saying your president sees you, right? And he said, okay, he said, like never before, they are sharing their stories in books and magazines, breaking glass ceilings of representation on television and movie screens, enlisting once again to serve proudly and openly in our military, getting elected and making policy at every level of government, and running businesses, curing diseases, and serving our communities in countless other ways. Hang on one second. He said, I call upon all Americans to join us in lifting up the lives and voices of transgender people throughout our nation and to work towards eliminating discrimination against all transgender, gender nonconforming, and non-binary people and all people. And then it said, Biden's basically he was saying, despite this progress, transgender Americans continue to face discrimination, harassment, and barriers to opportunity. Talking about how certain states basically are not going along with this, right? They want to make it where, you know, transgender issues, LGBTQ are being taught in schools. They want to make sure transgender children are participating on sports teams that align with their gender identity. This is a part of the presidential, you know, administration. This is what they're about. Like, why is that so important? They condemn states' efforts to target trans youth, but like, why are they condemning it? The state is supposed to represent the people. And if the people are not going for this, right? Like, the people don't want this occurring, why are they trying to push this and force this on the people? And, you know, it's crazy. White House condemned South Dakota's trans athlete ban. Right? This is just from earlier this year. Right? So South Dakota's like, no, their governor. She said, hell no. And then Biden came out condemning their new trans athlete ban, calling it nothing more than bullying disguised as legislation. Bullying because you don't want boys born as boys, men, competing against women in sports, and then talking about children's sports, right? So this is crazy, and this is what's going on, and this is why, yeah, I'm not cool with Disney putting all these elements in there, acting like it's so important. Hey, we need to, because of first, now it's you know, gay people in the cartoons kissing, but it's like, oh, that's not where it's going to stop. I mean, you heard what the lady said, like any chance she gets, she's putting it in there and she's going all out. So it's not going to stop there. It's going to get even more risque. That's where things are going. If you are aligned with that, if you're going along with that agenda. And so this is why I'm saying, man, it's programming. It's subliminal. You can't come outright and let people know that you're attacking them, right? It has to be done in a way it seems like it's pleasant, like it's okay, like it's acceptable. You have to make people feel good, right? And so when they do that, now there's not a problem. Now people accept it. So when you accept the message, when your mind is at ease, when you think you're just being entertained, that's when the subliminal programming works. And so you can't do this to children who aren't even aware of subliminal programming. They don't even know that stuff like this is real. They don't even know what it means. You can't just send your children out there basically to be slaughtered. Okay? And I understand, like, you know, people, you know, have friends and people that you care about who are going through this, who are suffering these issues, who are, you know, confused as well. I get it. I understand. But, you know, just going back to that story, that's why I kept showing those pictures. They were ugly. I didn't want to put such an image so ugly up on the screen, but seeing that 52-year-old man that wanted to identify as a 6-year-old girl, that's ridiculous. You don't humor someone like that by telling them it's okay, you're fine. You get them the help that they need. Okay? You're not helping them by humoring them. You know, you don't go and, like, he found some fake parents to adopt him after his real family You know, it's like, oh, hell no, we're not going along with this. Right? You don't do that. Right? Just like the people who were humoring Michael Jackson, they helped him. They basically helped lead to his eventual death. Right? Because, you know, come on, man. His career went down after that. He might have even been facing prison time, right? For the whole, you know, incident that occurred with him having little boys over for sleepovers. It's like, no, you don't say, hey, let's have some little boys over for sleepover, and he's like 50-something years old. No, dude, you're not a little boy. You know, the only reason children should be coming over your house is to visit your children, not to come and play with you, not to go climb trees with you. You could do that with your children, but you really have no business being around other people's children in that, in this climate that we live in. Just being totally real and honest about it. So yes, subliminal programming is real, and it's terrible when it's aimed at children, especially when the parents aren't looking out for them. So on that note, I want to go ahead and close this out, but I just really felt like it was important to discuss this briefly because, you know, I mean, you see, they're putting out executive orders. They're punishing people for speaking like this. They don't want this truth coming out. And they don't want people thinking for themselves either. You just have to go along with whatever the program is. And so we can't do that. We have to stand up. You have to stand for something. For those of you who are Moorish American, Muslims, I'm going to show you an image really quickly. It's of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This image is from the Moorish, the Quran questionnaire. And if you've seen this before, great. And let's pull that up. Okay, so you see the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and he is Islam, Brother Lewis L. You see him holding fallen humanity, right? She's unconscious. She was drowning in the cares of the world. That's all people, male or female, limp and unconscious. If you're unconscious, you're vulnerable. And he's standing on a solid rock of salvation. All right. A big portion of that salvation is but truth is everything is Allah. So when you're standing on a solid rock of salvation, you're not going to fall for anything. That's why it's important for us to have this, to have our divine creed, to have our religion of Islam, and to be able to stand on this, and then to be able to teach our children this, because if they can't stand on a solid rock of salvation, they can't stand on the truth, they're going to fall for anything as well. All right. And the reason why I said that truth is your salvation is because in question 46, it says, what did Jesus say that would make you free? What did Jesus say that would make you free? Truth. Truth. Okay. So if you're seeking salvation, right, you want to be free, truth is going to make you free. That's it. And truth is art. What is art? Art is Allah. So truth is everything. Truth cannot change nor pass away. So it doesn't matter if somebody's coming with some other message that sounds cool, right? They have an agenda. But it doesn't matter what the message is. You can stand on truth, and truth does not change or pass away. So it doesn't matter if it's 20 years from now. It doesn't matter if it's a cartoon or a TV show or a video game. You can stand on the truth. The truth is always the truth. It doesn't matter if our friends or family are confused and they're going along with this program. If they don't even realize that they've been programmed to be confused like this, it doesn't matter, because the truth cannot change or pass away. It doesn't mean we hate them. It doesn't mean we're mean to them. We're not mean. We're not trying to make anyone else's life any more difficult. We're not coming here to try to condemn someone. If someone is confused in this mind state where they're non-binary and all of this stuff, not trying to make their life more harder, more difficult than it already is. Right? I couldn't even imagine being in that position. That's terrible. I wouldn't want to make their life more difficult. I'm not going to be mean to them. and try to make them feel bad. That's not what this is about. We meet them in love, but also you have to stand on truth. Just because you show love and compassion for your fellow human does not mean you go along with the program. You have to stand for something. If you don't stand for something, you are drowning in the cares of the world. All right. You care so much for these issues that don't even affect you, right? Going out here like the people on the cover, the image that's on the thumbnail for this video, right? You see them out there holding the signs, protesting for the LGBTQ and all that stuff, right? I mean, like, they're drowning in the cares of the world, especially if it don't really affect them. Like, come on, man. You caught up out here. You can't be caught up. Most of us can't afford to be caught up. We have our own things to deal with. We have our own children to raise. We have our own life to live, our own goals and things that we need to achieve. You can't afford to be caught up out here, right? And so that's why I'm saying, you know, there's so much stuff out here that you can get caught up in. You can't afford to be like these gender confused men. You don't have time for that mess. And you can't have your children sitting here watching cartoons that are aimed at children because you have a grown woman that's trying to implement her not so secret gay agenda. And she's regularly, on a regular, adding queerness to children's programming. They call it programming for a reason. It's not a coincidence that they call radio, TV, movies programming. It's programming. It's programming your mind, and it's doing it in a subliminal way, and you can't go along with this. So I'm just putting this out there because it's not all good, man. It's not cool. And hopefully you get that message. Definitely, if you had your children just watching cartoons like it's cool, you need to put a stop to it. You need to do something else. You need to at least watch it with them and give them the truth too, so that they can stand on the solid rock of salvation. It's so easy for all of us to get caught up. All right. But that's it. Jesus said the truth will set you free. So the truth is the solid rock of salvation. We all need that. And on that note, let's go ahead and close this out. Just ask that everybody watching this hit that like and share button. All right. And on that note, peace and love, everybody.